back, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to get on draft of game number 2. Now, game number 1 hurt a little bit for the side of UConn. They took a bit of a beating there. A bit of miscommunication as to I feel like who was the win con this time around. I don't know what your thoughts on that are, Shinkari, maybe.
So, taking a look at this right now, I think once again Butler is kind of betting on UConn saying, okay, we're going to put all of our eggs into the Toxic Gerbil basket, right? They picked a champion that spikes in the mid game. They got a bunch of kills onto Toxic Gerbil early to deny them farm. Jinx's early game is a lot weaker now because of those. Well, I won't say a lot weaker, but definitely weaker now after those changes to her Q, basically reverting some of the changes that she got in season 11. It's now in a space where UConn just basically has to, if they want to go into the all eggs in the Toxic Gerbil basket, they now need to pick maybe a different AD carry that might be a little safer. Maybe at Ezreal, maybe look at Caitlyn. Even if they're not like the most powerful champion right now, you still have to give Toxic Gerbil just a bit of a safer option, because that's what Butler seems to want to do here. And maybe Butler's just so 5-head that they're just like, hey, game number 1, we're going to beat the crap out of Toxic Gerbil. And then he's going to be like, well, I'm going to pick a safer AD carry now. And we're going to put our win condition in a different lane. And now, oh, wait a minute. Okay, this could be, okay, so, you might be thinking, hey, Alex, they're doing the thing that you're talking about. They're going to put their win condition into the mid lane. They're giving that Veigar to Illithid. That would be wrong. That would be false. Incorrect. That Veigar is going to Toxic Gerbil.
Oh.
Yeah, he's played it before. He's played it before on stream. He's done it before. Toxic Gerbil has played Veigar bot lane. And I don't hate it. If they're going to play a team comp that if Butler wants to go for the same team comp again, they basically can't now, because Veigar is the most anti-melee champion to exist ever. Up there with Janna, Lulu, Poppy. Veigar is definitely the most annoying champion for any melee character to deal with, and I like that Butler's kind of moving around it here with the Ezreal pick, a more longer range AD carry. But that's definitely a Toxic Gerbil Veigar right there, unless last minute we see UConn lock in some AD carry to go.
I have to wait, but yeah, like you're saying, are almost actually coming out from the side of Butler. Won't be able to get that Nautilus this time around, as UConn is going to themselves. And yeah, like you were saying, they're really trying to reach him right this time around. UConn actually decided to end the Jinx. So like, if we're not going to take it, not going to let the side of Butler have it and havoc on us. And so they do want that Ezreal and get into and phase here too. Being taken out here by Butler. Surprised they're really side of UConn there that was doing some work. Definitely doing some work. A little underappreciated, I feel. I feel like kind of stepped up here as the Fluoride really kind of stepped up to try and be that damage deal, but it was a little too late.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely were the most fed character on the team in the last game there, and definitely taking them off the comfort champion here is definitely a very good idea. Take them off maybe some carry potential as well. I think I just want to see another damage source from UConn right now. Banning away the Victor, I think I like that idea. I think they've read into what we think as well, that's a bot lane Veigar for sure. But yeah, now we get to see the second half of the ban phase here, and we can definitely see if Illithid wants to take up this Veigar, or if Toxic Gerbil wants to pick up the Veigar, and we see a different mid laner here. I might want to see something with some AD damage in this top lane or the bot lane here. And Gangplank, definitely the character to give some huge amounts of AD damage.
Yeah, you asked and you shall receive. Indeed, the Gangplank coming out. With that being said, the last 2 picks are going to be coming out from Butler, so they're gonna make us wait until the end here to see if we do end up getting that Toxic Gerbil Veigar this time around. And see though, as pick phase 2 here, going often for the moon though.
Okay,
tanky boy.
Yeah, I actually really like this Mundo here. To be honest, he's a lane bully that turns into like a mega tank that you cannot kill later on in the game. And there's not really a champion on UConn right now that can really answer Mundo, right? Typically,
Yeah.
when people see Mundo, they're looking for Trundle. They're looking for anyone with kind of like max HP damage in their kit. And up against Gangplank, Mundo's going to have a little bit hard time kind of earlier on before he has any sort of big items to really deal with the damage that Gangplank uses here. But I guess they're looking for the Xerath
Ooh,
lock in here. So yeah, that's going to
okay.
be a
Oh
Toxic
Lord.
Gerbil Vigar in the bot lane there. This is certainly interesting to see the Xerath come out from Illithid here. This is a really long range poke comp with a couple of divey characters, divey front lines here. I'm interested to see how this is going to play out for UConn here.
Yeah, I was gonna say the comp is it's a little odd almost. You have, like you were saying, right, a lot of these kind of more long range pokey kind of champs that want to definitely stay outside of the fight, and then you have Scorcher Blaze, who has shown us he is not afraid to ult on into the middle of things and just get his hands dirty. You've got Fluorite, who kind of wants to stay kind of in that middle ground, right? Use those barrels to poke and then just send out the ulti to assist his team. And then White Wazowski, I'm quite curious to see if he can fill the shoes of Mojo on that Nautilus, because he definitely left quite some big ones to fill.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is it's looking real tough. I mean, there's, to me, like, UConn has drafted a fairly good team composition here. They have a lot of answers to these kind of like short range characters here with the Mundo, with the Kane, and as well as kind of shutting down maybe the package as well, even with if the baby cage is set up correctly. It's just weird to me to see Xerath and Vigar and Gangplank with the front line being Volibear and Nautilus here. I think that's
Yeah.
the big question marks for me. It seems like these two tanks want to go in, whereas the rest of UConn is just kind of like, hey, what are we doing? Why are y'all over there? We're back here. Hello. Nautilus is a little bit more flexible, can just kind of hold back and just wait and auto attack people, set down a Riptide, or even use a Death Charge as people are going in. But Volibear definitely is a champion that wants to be running at the enemy champions, right? That's why he has the speed boost, the lightning storm, and then also the dive as well. It's a very go forth initiation type champion. So I'm waiting to see how the rest of these team fights will play out. But definitely, if Butler is walking at UConn right now, UConn has a very, very good answer to those kind of initiations.
Yeah, and at the same time, I'm also kind of worried about that, because when you do look at the side of Butler, right, they have a lot of these champs that are just going to be able to poke you down from long range. You've got the Corki here, right? You've got the Ezreal with the Mystic Shot as well. You've got the Karma with the Q, and so if any of those three start getting ahead, I feel like, because especially during those sort of lull phases right before, these team fights start for these big objectives like the Dragons or the Baron, where you're just kind of staring each other
Mhm.
down in the river and the jungle, it's really going to be coming up to Cathargo and Neckington Jr. to kind of get that poke damage out there, get some of these members really low so that they can't even kind of force and engage in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I think this game might come down to who gets a lead early once again, right? Like, because both of these teams sporting poke compositions are really good if the enemy team doesn't really have resistances in order to stop a lot of the damage that they're going to be doing, right? And if you fall behind and the opposing team is able to get that kind of resistances early on, it's going to be a lot harder for you to execute on your idea of your team comp. And both of these comps have those kind of ideas here. They want to go real long range. They want to be staying away and kind of eyeballing each other down as they're shooting out pot shots back and forth, right? Gangplank has the barrels. Xerath obviously is the like artillery mage, right? And on the other side, I don't need to point this to Corki Ezreal. That's like the poke champion, the
Yeah.
poke AD carries, right? We've seen even Corki now going into like this half AD, half AP build, and arguably you could do that on Ezreal as well. But still, like, this is two teams that are like, hey, who's going to get a lead early so that our poke is better than their poke?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, let's play the Kane game once again. What are we thinking?
Mhm.
Does Kane go blue this time around, now that there's a couple more kind of squishy members here on the side of UConn? Or does he opt once again for that red form?
I mean, I think every single time I say that he's gonna go blue, I've called blue Kane like a bunch of times, and they're like, nope, red. And I feel like people just feel like red is just a little bit more consistent, so that, like, you don't have to worry about what the enemy team is building, and there are still some pretty beefy frontliners there. But once again, I still think that blue Kane is fine here. There's three squishy targets on UConn's team that could be very easily exploited by a Blue Cane, and even Blue Cane being flanking for their team would be a good and efficient initiation if they're looking for that. He just won't be able to tank some of the pot shots that that UConn is looking to throw out as easily as he would if he was red. That's really the only thing for me. Once again, I think Blue Cane is perfectly fine here, but I think Red Cane might come out one more time.
All right, well, we'll have to see. Alex is called to give him his Blue Cane, please, please.
Come on,
Butler.
blue shirt, blue
Yeah,
cane.
come on, give it. You gotta give it to him at that
Your
point.
colors, both of the team's colors, blue. They're both blue. Okay, come on. The universe is aligning itself so that you become Blue Cane.
We're manifesting the Blue Cane right now.
For sure, but we're on the Rift. Game number 2.
Yep, let's get right into it already. Once again, you know how we do things: spells, runes, anything in particular we need to talk about, or is this all pretty par for the course?
Well, Red Cane for sure with the Conqueror on Voltage. Yeah, and I mean, other than that, everything seems fine. If you are not in the know and see Predator on Vigar, no, that's correct. That's correct. Turns out, just pressing Predator, walking up to someone and pressing your R button is good enough for Vigar. That's literally all it's there for. So Vigar can just get him within range to press his R button. Like, that's literally it. Like, that's how good the point and click ultimate is for Vigar, that he just needs Predator. There's a whole lot of first strike in this game right now, especially on Illithid and Fluoride as well. There's going to be a whole lot of gold floating around. So I'm going to have to take a look at that as the game progresses. But for the most part, a lot of these are pretty standard here. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Levi opting for the grasp is also fine. Like, this is a pretty standard set of runes so far here.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to see how they end up highlighting around this. Once again, Illith also with that barrier, give them a little bit of more sustainability, especially going up against Neckingen Jr. with that Corki, who's just gonna be a bit of a poke menace to say the least.
I mean, it is just going to be poke lanes throughout this entire match. Like, if you think you're safe at a low HP bar somewhere on this lane, you're not. Okay, just probably it's a good idea to get out of there. But it's really going to be just so much damage being thrown around in these first early levels here, because once again, poke comps like this, double, like, lots of damage comps, don't do well if they fall behind, and then the enemy team is able to build resistances in order to get through that damage, or to be able to resist that damage, right? You need to get a lead early and then spike before the opposing team can, and there's then not going to be a whole lot of room for comebacks in this game. So we're going to have to watch this early game really, really closely.
Yeah, and already, once again, you have that KFC horde in the top this time around. Scorcher Blaze has been spotted out, so they know that he's going for that full camp clear, and then maybe going to try and channel something into this top lane here, but we'll have to wait and see. It's like you're saying, we really just need to be paying close attention to this early game, and already we see that the side of UConn is struggling a bit in this bot lane already with just the amount of poke that comes out from the Karma, from the Ezreal. They really just can't step up very far to these waves, and they're getting shoved under the turret accordingly. Good opening for a gank, but we do see a gank meanwhile in the mid lane here, but Neckingen Jr. just going to go ahead and let that to get on out of there, running for his life as Scorcher is close behind. You know, his top lane Levy, those deadly watermelons, man, they hurt.
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot that Levi can do about it in the top lane. Mundo does really well into matchups that do have CC to proc his passive, but Gangplank has none of that. So you're never getting your passive procced here. It's just not happening. So you're just going to be sitting there tanking a whole lot of damage, hoping that the little grenade on your back will pop off and you get to go walk over and pick it up, the little battery, if you will. But it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen unless Volibear shows up, and then in which case you're great. But, you know, until then, you're just going to be tanking just a whole bunch of damage and can't really do a whole lot about it.
Yeah, we did see that Fluoride Sixth Sense kind of kicked in there, placing that ward just in time to spot out Voltage, who was on his way for a bit of a roam into that top lane. You see that Scorcher Blade did try to find something in his bot lane, but he came in a bit too late. The wave had already reset, and so Carthago and Mojo were back to a somewhat safe position. Hextech Drake is going to be up in 40 seconds, so this time around we're going to be seeing a different soul as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Hextech Drake, very powerful Drake for sure. As an individual Drake, probably fine. Like ability haste and attack speed is definitely a decent chunk of stats to have in your pocket. But definitely, folks, as individual Drakes, I would usually say that probably Ocean or Mountain probably a little bit better to have those defensive stats in your pocket before the Soul. It does all. I think another person stated that like the best individual Drake to get is Cloud because it means that the Cloud Soul is not going to happen this map. But we gotta
Oh,
find the bot.
yeah, what will happen though? The heal coming out from Carthago here, and they're looking for an all-in. So much damage coming out. White Wazowski is gonna go down. Carthago does get taken quite low by Toxic, but the shield does come out, and so he's gonna be okay. However, gank coming down into this bot lane, but it's not gonna be too little too late just yet. Scorcher on his way. Toxic can't really follow up. Unfortunately, he's just too low. The stun does come out. It does connect. Scorcher trying his best to get on top of him, but can't quite find it. Too much damage coming up from Carthago, and so he's gonna have to fall back.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good play by Butler there. They really wanted to exploit the fact that Toxic Gerbil had used that baby cage just a little too early, right? The event horizon came down fairly early, and that was the go button for Butler and Mojo Romo there. White Wazowski, as defensive as Nautilus can be, still has a pretty low movement speed at this stage, and it's going to be hard to get away from the damage that Butler, Mojo Romo, and Cathargo can throw out here. So it was definitely a really easy pickup there for themselves. And once again, we're taking a look at this early game, and if this continues, like Butler could snowball off of that one play, right? And it stings to hear, but sometimes when you play comps that kind of hinge on you getting a lead kind of early, is kind of necessary here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be a tricky one to say the absolute least. I do feel this time around, surprisingly, haven't seen much coming out from Voltaire here, as he's really just been kind of power farming up, trying to get to that level 6 in comparison to a last game where we really saw him everywhere where he needed to be.
Yeah, for sure. But other than that, the map has been quite quiet. We've been seeing a lot of poking back and forth between multiple champs here, but for the most part, like, this has just been, Toxic Gerbil's in some trouble.
Oh, he's in a very bad spot. Gonna drop that baby cage, but it's not gonna stun. Instead, the tether will connect. He's stunned, and he's not long for this world. Trying his best to do what he can, but it's not gonna be enough, and will give the kill into the hands of Carthago. Now 2-0. We just said how he was gonna try and run away with that lead. That lead just got a little bit larger.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, Fluoride might have found out Voltaire here.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, Voltaire's good to go. Oh, he's popping ultimate here. They're really looking to fight.
They're sending everything they've got. A lot of damage coming out into Voltaire here. Will Illa try to... He will pop the artillery barrage here, trying to find something, but can't quite get it. So close. But Voltaire popping the pot there, and he will be good to go.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what you need to look for in terms of leads here. Neckington Jr. trying to run for their life.
Yeah,
coming in from the side here. Oh,
did
there's
pop
a lot
the
of
Valkyrie. Yeah, it's a very big little collapse here now. Bit of damage coming on to White Wazowski, who was there to try and apply some pressure. Scorch getting lower and lower as time goes on. That Gatling gun doing so much damage. Needs to flash over the wall. True Chopper Rod does connect with Neckington Jr. incredibly low. White Wazowski can't quite find the hook to get him out of that conundrum. Will go down, and so will Toxic Gerbil. Mundo hit the embiggenate button, and he's big now. Got himself a nice little double kill there.
Yeah, this is a really good lead for Butler early on. And, this wasn't, and I said this kind of earlier, once again, we need to take a look at this early game. We need to watch it real close. Oh,
no way he hit that. A very nice Arcano Pulse is going to secure UConn their first kill.
Yeah, I mean, this is a real good start for Butler once again. I mean, even though they lost that kill there, I mean, this is still great for them. They have two champions that are sporting the Tear of the Goddess here, and they are already ahead in gold as well. I mean, this is really, really good start if you're an Ezreal or a Corki right now. Like, you already kind of have an assured power spike at the end of that tier, and now you also have gold in your pockets as well. We don't have to talk about the theoretical gold value of what a Archangel staff is. We just have to talk about how much gold more Cathargo and Neckington Jr. have over their lane opponents, which is quite a lot. They're farming better than them, and they're also having these kills and assists in their pockets as well.
Yeah, we did see the heal coming out from Mojo there to escape the baby cage hook combo. So we'll get out of that one. Scorcher, meanwhile, in this top area, trying to, might be grabbing that Rift Herald. Looking at it, yep, is going to go ahead, look to grab it. Neckington Jr., as much as he wants to contest, needs to head back to this mid lane and keep his wave in check. Volte here as well, looking to do a whole lot of damage here. Illith running for his life, needs to pop that barrier right about now. Will pop it in the last remaining moment. And now Scorch Blades doing his best, hits the stun, and there we go. The artillery barrage finds its target. Voltage just barely escaping the dredge line.
Yeah, Illithid does go down to that barrage, though. I think Xerath and Jhin kind of have the same issue with their ultimates, is that once they pop their ultimate, they might as well just be putting a target on their back, right? Like, you know the center of where the circle started. You have an idea of where they're shooting from. Like, it's definitely really hard, especially with an Ezreal on the enemy team, to really be in a spot that's safe when you're such low HP on Xerath. Like, you kind of have to wait for Ezreal to pop the ultimate, but if he did, Illithid would have never gotten that kill onto Neckington Jr. there and might have been able to not been able to really try to turn this gold around his Fluoride. Once again, still in this top lane, still being a big pain in the butt to Levi here.
Yeah, absolutely, to say the very least. We do see Voltade looking to grab themselves that Rift Arrow now, looking to finish Scorcher's legacy there. Should be grabbing it any minute now, and maybe we see a bit of a top roam, a bit of a dive, as we do have 4 members up there. And meanwhile, Butler, Cathargo in a bad spot, uses the Arcane Shift to try and get away, does get stunned and will flash, but it doesn't matter because you're being followed to the ends of the earth. Scorcher Blade, he's like, this turret you got? Yeah. It's no longer working. Now Illith in a terrible spot, doesn't have that barrier, will try to do as much damage as he can, but he will go down. Can't quite do that much against Mojo and Neckington Jr.
Yeah, that was a really well-placed package delivery there. And now they're going to be able to drop that Rift Herald into that mid lane, get a whole bunch of plates for Corki here. And yeah, there we go. Finally able to get that charge down from Shelly there. It's going to be a little bit harder to take those last 2 plates, but that's still a whole bunch of gold into Butler's pockets right now. And down the bot lane as well, UConn doing a very good dive on a Cathargo, getting that space for Toxic Gerbil to really finally get some room to breathe in this lane. As I like this kind of move from the supports here as they're starting to roam around the map, just kind of ignoring their AD carries and just kind of leaving them in the bot lane there.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, what you need to get done here. Neckington Jr. has found Scorcher Blaze. Might have underestimated his own damage, actually. Might have been able to find something, but White Wazowski was there as well, so decided to not risk anything. And, you know, it's probably a better move.
Yeah, for sure. And this is definitely going to be a game where, you know, I might start to eat my words maybe. You know, UConn is making some moves to get them back into this game, and, you know, I don't think there's a whole lot of defenses being built by either team right now. So even if this game goes much later, like, it might just turn into a bloodbath where, like, both teams are fighting each other and neither have a whole lot of resistances. Like, we take a look at Mundo's going to be the tankiest member on Butler, and that's about it, right? We have the Iron Spike Whip finally being completed by Kayn, so this is going to be a red Kayn for sure. So now it's just going to be interesting to see how these later stages of this game are going to look out. Like, Red Kayn is tanky for sure, but is more reliant on the healing factor that he has than on, like, any sort of, like, raw stats in order to be as tanky as he possibly could, right? He has a nice big HP pool. He has a really good way of healing through a lot of the damage, right? That's going to be the best way that he heals through this, right? If he's not building any sort of, like, straight resistances against the enemy team, right, this is still going to be a bloodbath back and forth from UConn as well, because they have about the same number, maybe a little bit less than the resistance building champions that Butler has here. As that's a whole lot of ultimates on Neckington Jr.
Indeed. Yeah, trying to take on Neckington Jr. as that 1 killer watermelon got him pretty low. That being said, though, that is a lot of ultimates out for the count. Actually, now we're seeing these kind of lull phases where we will almost like see the poke coming out. So much CC going out, though, onto Voltaire, onto Levy, know where they can go, and the 3-man, and they just wipe them off the board like it was nothing. UConn finally coming together as a team, realizing how to work together, and they pull off a flawless performance.
Are they chasing Corki right now? No way they're chasing Corki right now. 4 members of the team are on the top half of the map. What are you looking for? There's no Rift Herald here. Corki is gone. What are we doing here, folks? What is going on?
Get the bag, get the money, get the kill.
Oh my god. They're just like, I want this guy dead by sunrise. Make sure he's swimming with the fishes. I don't know. I guess Toxic Gerbil is just some kind of mafioso. I don't want this. I want this guy dead.
Do it for the
D-E-D.
family.
Dead. Do it for the family.
He disrespected us. Let's go get him out of here.
Oh my god.
He's in the
Jesus.
jungle. Make sure he doesn't see the light of day, huh?
Yeah. Put him 6 feet under the river. Like the turret was right there. Why are we chasing the Corki? He's gone. Just hit the turret in the mid lane, please. Like, he doesn't even have like a bounty on him either. I'm so confused as to why so many people like left the mid lane turret and went into the jungle there. Nautilus even looked pretty hard for the Corki too. Like, he was using the blast cone. Like, he hooked over a wall going like maybe he went towards like maybe he did some sort of cheeky back like towards our base. It's just like there's a turret to hit in the mid lane. Where are we going?
Yeah, overall, just really not capitalizing much on that very nice team fight that they just had. It's like you said, they wiped the board with them, and then instead of going for the free turret, they chased one member who's 1 and 2. So you're really not even getting that much out of that kill as well if you were to get it, which they don't even end up getting, so they get nothing for that.
Yeah, a whole lot of time spent, not a whole lot gained, but you know, UConn is still in a pretty good position right here. You know, they were able to grab that Drake. They were able to get a pretty good win for themselves as well. I mean, this is the best time to capitalize on Kayn, right? Kayn might build into resistances later, right? As I was kind of saying, like, he does still build that. He is still going to be a frontliner, but not as heavy as like the Mundo, right? He's going to be kind of like this half and half. So being able to I'm brain farting real bad. This is the best time to capitalize on Kayn because Kayn is not going to be as tanky as he would normally be. As Fluoride in some trouble.
Yeah, they're looking to capitalize on Fluoride being a bit too far forward. The artillery barrage does come out though. Voltade should go down here. One more auto attack will seal the deal. Not the Geel. Oh god, I don't even know what that would mean. They will pick up that kill though on Voltade. And then overall, just once again, a very nice combo of ultimates. Toxic just barely getting out of that one with the flash to save him. But it's nice to see. It seems like they're finally realizing how they need to start pairing their ultimates and abilities together to make this kind of comp that they have work.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely some real good movement by UConn as well. I'm loving the movement that Mike Wazowski has been doing. I think I mentioned it earlier that I'm loving that the supports are just kind of like, hey, y'all are fine. Like, you just don't hurt each other too bad in the sandbox down there. You'll be fine. And you know, just the two of them just kind of roaming around the map because Vigar and Ezreal like are champions that just kind of have like assured power spikes, right? Ezreal has the Tear of the Goddess. And both of them are pretty safe too. Like, they're not really 80 carries that need to fight. They just need to farm and they need to get their either their tier stacking or their passive stacking, which both Toxic Gerbil and Cathargo have been doing right now. If we can get an AP check onto Toxic Gerbil real quick, we can just click onto Toxic Gerbil. Let's see how much AP that they've got right now. 140 or 251. That's a pretty decent chunk of AP right there.
Yeah, indeed, and also with the Everfrost being the pig, right? So that's also just it really symbolizing just how much AP he's grabbing there, and that is going to be crucial as time moves forward. That infinite scalability is definitely going to play into the favor of UConn, especially now when they're finally starting to find that lead that they've been looking for.
Yeah, another thing I kind of wanted to point out here, we do have Dragon spawning in about 30 minutes, but I did want to say that I like this adaptation from Fluoride here, going for the lethality gangplank build. This is something you kind of see in more so in ARAM than you do in normal games of League of Legends. But when the entire enemy team is itemizing against Illithid and Toxic Gerbil, and you're the one AD source, it is really, really good idea to really exploit their lack of armor here. Scorcher Blaze. Oh no!
Oh, he's
gosh.
so low. They won't quite get it though. The tank coming out to block the arcane, the mystic shot, not the arcane shot.
Yeah.
New ability, right? Hire me, I'll make some cool ones for you. That being said, though, should be a free drag unless they can steal it. Just shooting it a little bit early here with that artillery barrage, won't quite find it. And now Nekadin Jr. Wrong neck of the woods here, was looking for something but won't quite find anything. He is alone, only Mojo Roma there to help him out. So instead, he opts to just back off.
Yeah, this is definitely looking to be Definitely a good pickup for Butler one more time, right? Like if both these teams are prioritizing these Drakes here, picking up that Earth Drake is going to be really important to making sure that they can at least tank through the damage that Fluoride is going to be dealing. Because once again, lethality, very bad if the opponent is stacking armor, but really good if your opponents don't have any at all, right? Obviously,
Yeah.
if the opposite
Oh,
is,
you
is
don't
then
say.
true, right? Wow, really?
Wow.
Wow, 5-head, bro.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah. AD damage, bad if armor. Okay, wow, thank you. Regardless, this is the Mountain Drake is really good for helping you just kind of get that little bit extra armor under your plate, and then the Mountain Soul as well will help both of these teams kind of tank up the poke damage that both these teams are just trying to throw out here. So these Drakes are pretty important, pretty valuable to both of these teams here, and definitely going to be pretty important as this game progresses. As now we have Shelly pushing into this mid lane. I don't think she's going to be able to get a second charge, but this first turret going down does open up more of the map to UConn here.
No, it just gets absolutely sliced. Rest in peace. But that is going to be huge just for the amount of pressure that UConn is going to be able to distribute onto the map here with that first tier 1 going down finally after they lost their own so tragically. That being said, though, Baron is up for grabs, so I'd imagine if we get to see like another team-wide wipe as we saw in that last team fight, maybe we see an instant Baron take here in this around the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're definitely going to see something around Baron relatively soon. We have the turrets taken on the blue side here for the red team. They're definitely looking for something here. Oh, Toxic Turbo.
Oh, Mojo so low, but we'll get out of that one. Meanwhile, Levy, though, will not be afforded the same kind of kindness as he's tanking so much, but eventually will go down. It takes 3 members, but they finally take him out.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big player for Butler here. He's the most tanky member on their team and the only person who's been stacking resistances, right? Kane still is looking for more of a bruiser build here. It hasn't like looked into any sort of more defensive items than the Merc Treads here. And that's really all that is to say about the rest of the defenses on the team here. Like, it's just Merc Treads if you have any sort of defenses at all. Right, so taking out Mundo here, if they were looking to look for maybe a bigger kind of objective, then that would have been the best person to take down, because now if you try to go contest them on the bottom or on that part of the map, then you really just, excuse me, you really don't have a front line that can really eat up that damage, right? You just kind of have to sit there and face tank. And UConn has a lot of respectable damage, and now they've finally been able to turn it around.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking at the kills themselves. Scorcher Blaze being 3-0, and looking at the farm as well. Illith doing quite well for himself. However, not as good in comparison to Neckendin Jr. with the 200 farm already. Bro has been absolutely prioritizing getting the bag, and he has it indeed. And we are seeing that kind of like mixed build coming out as we suspected in the draft as well. Going to be doing a whole lot of damage with those rockets, but will it be enough to sustain against the forces of UConn? Only time can tell.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, I think that this is the next fight might go into Butler's favor, right? These are 2 huge power spikes for Ezreal and Corki here, and once again, I think that there is some armor being built by their team here. They have some decent resistances in their pocket, right? They do have the Hourglass being built by Vigar here, and also Volibear and Nautilus are no slouches when it comes to the armor to resist a lot of this damage here. It's just going to be, we're just going to have to keep our eyes out, because like this is a really powerful Corki right now. This is a really powerful Ezreal. They do have that Muramana, but UConn does have to contest this. They can't let these Drakes go. Oh my god, this is so much damage.
So much poke damage coming out, but they're finding their own damage there. Shutdown, however, coming out onto Scorcher. So many flashes coming out. Toxic Dribble needs to go gold. Will just barely survive. White Kozlowski needs to run, but there's a deadly watermelon. There's so much damage. We'll pick up that first kill onto Carthago, but Kane is there to clean up the board. Fluoride running for his life. He will not escape, though. Levy, too damn tanky, cannot be stopped. And just as you called it, the fight goes into the hands of Butler. Volte, come on, man. Calm down. You don't got to do that, bro.
But yeah, I mean, this is the power spike that Butler was basically waiting for here, right? UConn might have been able to edge themselves out into the gold lead by just a little bit, but you know, now we actually have to. Okay, wait, Illithid. Wait a minute. Illithid looking for a little bit more. Not gonna be able to find it, but you know, now before, you know, we didn't I said that we didn't have to talk about the theoretical gold advantage of the Muramana. Now we do have to talk about the theoretical gold advantage of the Muramana, which is a lot. You know, it's a lot even though the gold looks even, that Muramana is very, very powerful, and that's we really saw that in the last fight there. We saw Scorcher Blaze and Fluoride tried to walk at Corki, got hit by 3 rockets, and were nearly dead. Like, that's how powerful Corki is right now. That's how strong this Muramana is. And this is some really big. I mean, Ezreal was kind of focused down in that fight, wasn't really able to do as much, but like, you know, Corki was like just out of their mind in that game, or in that last team fight there. So this is a really, really big opportunity that Butler needs to kind of like end the game relatively soon, or else Vigar is going to catch up and get kind of over the damage that they have right now, because this is kind of the while their damage will still go up, this is kind of like the biggest spike that Neckington Jr. and Cathargo are going to have. So this is the opportunity for UConn to just be like, okay, let's play it a little slow, let's wait a little bit for our Vigar, but it looks like they're looking to fight right now.
Yeah, and the TP coming out here from Toxic. Gonna try and find something near Voltate. Waiting over the wall, though. Gonna get a little bit of a knockup. We do see the ultimate coming out as well from Illith. Trying to get some damage in. Not finding a lot, though, but here's that poke coming out. Scorcher Blaze is incredibly low. Instead, they're gonna look to focus Durable first and pop in the Everfrost, but he's in a terrible position right now. He's stuck in that pit. It's gonna go gold, but there's nowhere for him to go as he goes down. Baron trying to get some own damage out there, trying to take out Voltate. Won't quite find it, though. And now they're just gonna keep running it down here. Scorcher Blaze is gonna be the first man on the scene. Needs to defensively also try and get away. Will get away, but Wyke Wazowski won't be so lucky. They're looking to keep running them down. Can they find something here? I don't know if they can. They will indeed. The double kill from Carthago. Doing so much damage. The flash coming out, but can't quite find Lilith as he pops the barrier, giving himself just a little bit extra health.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this was a really, really close team fight. I mean, it started off pretty bad for UConn, and then they tried to turn it around as best they could, but once Toxic Gerbil was separated from the team, there was really nowhere for him to go. He found some decent CC and was able to take Voltate pretty low there, but for the most part, this was not, okay.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's something. It's something.
Yeah.
A
little bit.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, a lot of the poke damage that UConn was trying to throw out was really kind of avoided by Butler. Butler played pretty far back there, and even though Illithid was able to get some damage onto Neckington Jr., once again, I'm going to use a phrase from Magic the Gathering where the only life point that matters is the last one. Yeah, it's the last one. It's the only life point that everything between there and then is whatever. Like, especially when you're playing a poke comp, like you're playing pretty far away from the enemy team. So like if you are alive with 100 HP and you've got a real long range ability that's going to do a buttload of damage, you're going back in. It's like, it's all right, put me in, coach, but you have 100 HP. No, I'm good. I'm fine. Put me back in, coach.
I got 99 spare, coach.
Yeah. I have one really good long throw, and then I'm gonna be good. Like, that's what you need in these kind of Pokemon's. Like, as long as you're hanging on by a thread, that thread is enough to make sure that the enemy team takes as much damage as possible. Right? Sometimes you need only a thread in order to garrote your enemy. Fun facts on the on the Big East Coast, on the Big East stream, everybody. Please don't hurt anyone. We have a team fight. Oh, okay. We got a team fight coming through. That's a big ultimate already.
A lot of damage, and so that's going to force UConn to have to fall back. That two-shot barrage already half helping Illith and doing quite a bit of damage to Fluoride respectfully. However, they have spotted out Neckington Jr., so they're going to try and find something here. Death Charge is coming out. He can't quite get over that wall. The hook does connect, and he will go down. The Gangplank damage. Fluoride has found his calling. We'll take him out, and now with these death timers being incredibly long, Neckington Jr. might be a little bit late to this next dragon. Ooh, the hook. That was a dangerous hook to take. Ended up missing and put Wyke Wazowski right into harm's way. Carthago, though, doing so much. Whoa, look at that damage. The Mystic Shot almost taking out Illith. And this is what I was talking about. During these lull moments, there's just really nothing that the side of UConn could do. So much poke comes out from Carthago. And Nekine Jr., sure, he's dead at the moment, but if he was alive, that'd be even more damage coming out. The ultimate does get popped, and they're going to look to send it, followed up by the artillery barrage. They're going all in, all hands on deck, but it doesn't matter. Carthago does too much damage. He hits too hard, gets a double kill, looking to get the triple kill. He'll find it. He'll get the quad. Can he get the penta? Fluoride running for his life. Levy trying his best to slow him down. He feels it. He tastes it. He's looking for it. And he's gonna maybe get it. Yeah, he'll get it. The penta kill for Carthago.
Oh,
and just like that, beautifully executed. He poked him out. He ran him down. And he picks it up.
I mean, this is just such. I don't know how to feel about that fight in general. For the longest time, it looked like Mundo fall in the Baron pit, right? When everyone picks Mundo, and then we just, you just throw cleavers back and forth at people. I mean, this was just such a weird fight to begin with. They were trying to get poke damage here and there, but they didn't quite have it. And they had the man advantage, but I'm not quite sure what they were fighting over, right? Like, the dragon hadn't spawned yet.
Yeah.
Wasn't spawning for, like, quite a bit. Like, they were just there. Like, just both teams were just there. It's like, it was almost like an ARAM. Like, hey, we have to fight because both teams are here. It's like, it's sure,
we can see them.
like, yeah, we can see you. But like then it just turned into like this weird engagement when like Mike Wazowski was already insanely low. Scorcher Blaze was taking a lot of damage. Carthago hadn't used his ultimate yet, so that was a really big tool already used. Mojo Romo had already thrown out a pretty big shield onto Carthago and himself as well in order to tank through a lot of the ultimate that Illithid was throwing out as well, right? This just wasn't a team fight for UConn right there, and then they forced the team fight, and now they're in a position I don't even think they can come back from now. They're down about 8.5 thousand gold, and they have now the Earth Soul as well, which means whatever damage they were trying to do before is now going to be even harder, especially with Mojo Romo on the Karma, right? Oh, wait, Illith is in trouble.
Valkyrie going in, though, but that might have not been the move. So much to see. Would still get out. He still gets out. He flashes. Never mind. Will be taken out, though, by the artillery barrage. Scorcher going to go down as well in return. The gameplay ultimate did get popped. So much damage, though. Gerbil did have to go gold, but now he's just, he's gone. Yeah. Tried to buy himself some time. Nothing really going to come out of it. Overall, they do go 2 for 3, however, but I don't know if they can stop the push that's coming.
Yeah, I mean, they already still have... I mean, Levi could probably tank up the turret if they had a more consistent damage in order to take it down. But they're just waiting on the... They can honestly just sit here because they have a super minions wave pushing it on the spot side here. So now it's just... They just wait, and now they have the destruction stack as well. Like, this is going to be a whole mess of damage. Oh, okay. They're not getting the turret. They have some respawns here coming in. Going to be able to just chase them off for now. But it looks like the next fight might happen around this Baron, which is happening in about 50 seconds here, in about a little less than a minute. So I think Butler might just peel off here, throw out some vision around the pit, and reset and come back to this Baron pit, because that's going to be how they're going to be ending this game.
Yeah, absolutely. They have UConn has bought themselves a little bit of extra time by stopping that push. But like you're saying, those super minions are slowly advancing in that bot lane, looking to wreak havoc in the base. UConn needs to find some kind of pick here right about now, like they did with Nekine Jr. that first part. If they can do something like that, maybe they can still find their way back into this.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm not quite sure how UConn gets back into this game. They just maybe they're in a realm where, hey, if we avoid every team fight and just push every single lane and like force Butler to answer us that way, like maybe we win. But like, also, Butler is just like, oh, you're not going to fight us? Well, we're just going to walk down your mid lane or your bot lane and end the game, right? This is like an opportunity. This is the thing where they have to fight. They might have to fight right now.
All right, they fighting it. First kill going into the hands of Nekine Jr. Gonna have to flash over the wall for Scorchblade to get out of there alive. And now Toxic Dribble once again, it's just in a terrible spot. Pops the ult, but too much shielding coming on Nekine Jr. It's gonna go gold. It's gonna go down, but they will find one kill at least. Lilith, though, terrible spot, and Levi's just gonna run him into the ground, takes him out. And that is the ace. That should be the base as well. And Butler should be taking this game home.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a 2-0 victory for Butler here for sure. I mean, they have Levi is going to be able to tank these turrets long enough for the super wave to come up. I mean, he's already got so much. He's gonna get, oh no, Levi just laughing right there. I mean, the Earth Drake shield is gonna keep him alive for just a little bit longer. Mojo Romo is also gonna be able to do that as well, especially with these shields. Like, there's not a whole lot that these respawns are gonna be able to do. The Nexus is gonna go down, and this is a 2-0 victory for Butler. A really great start to their day where they could get themselves a tiebreaker way back into these top 4 for next week.
Yeah. Apologize for that. There's construction going on in the house. I don't know why, but hey, it's what it is. That being said, though, yeah, a very stellar, dominating performance coming out from Butlers here. I mean, they took the game and ran with it. We'll say, though, University of Connecticut, we're looking a lot better this time around.
Yeah, just they were able to really. I'd say this is a little bit of a game that they had once again a little spark of hope that I could say. You know, UConn in game number 1 was able to, you know, move around with those kind of objective bounties and the shutdowns that they were looking for, and able to turn that game around that way. In this one, they were able to find some real good team fights, but it would really came down to that spike of the Muramana and like the amount of damage that Corki was able to do once left alone, right? It was really hard to gank Corki in lane. Corgi was just really hard to gank and really hard to shut down. And so as long as he just had time in his lane, he was able to get just 2 items, and then suddenly, boom, like a tank. Like I think I highlighted this when back then, but you know, we saw Scorcher Blaze and Fluoride kind of trying to make their way into the river from the blue side entryway, and just took 3 shots from Corky's rockets and were nearly 20% HP left. Like, it was just like so much damage from this Corky here. Gotta be the MVP of this game for sure.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Just the amount of poke coming out was insane, to say the least. I mean, we called it during the draft as well. We said it was going to be a lot for them to handle during these kind of lull phases where they were waiting to take these objectives. And it all came out to full suit, really.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Butler University, they take this a 2-0 very nicely to 1 game. Next up will be Seton Hall versus DePaul University. We actually have, we got an interview going on. Let's go. Who we bringing in?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to be bringing Carthago in.
Bring it in, Carthago. Let's go.
Yeah, we're going to be getting a Carthago interview in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the interview with Butler Carthago in just a bit.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have the one and only Ezreal Poke extraordinaire here with us. We have Carthago. How you feeling today, man?
Feeling great after that win. I think our drafts were really good, and I was able to play to our strengths.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, also take. I mean, overall, very nice performance and taking the win as well from UConn, who are in that third spot at the moment. That's got to feel pretty good too.
Feels great. We needed this win, and I think we did it in pretty good fashion too.
Absolutely. Now that the small brain questions are out of the way, I'll throw it over to Alex. I'm sure you got something up your sleeve,
Yeah.
some big brain questions you want to get down to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it seemed like you had kind of UConn's number this whole game. Like you just read, like they came as like, oh yeah, here's our playbook, it's real secret, and just here you are with a copy of it, kind of like in the back of a Barnes and Noble or something. Like, um, talk to me about what the kind of prep work like. Has this been like a long time coming? Like, has y'all been like practicing like really hard for specifically this matchup this week? Talk to me about what the prep work looked like and what kind of your strategies for specifically UConn, that you kind of devised here.
Well, it's definitely a big week for us, so we've been putting a ton of time in prepping because we have our this UConn match and we have Seton Hall later, and we need to get both these wins. But in terms of UConn, we just had a general idea of the way the meta was going and the champions that they're strong at, and we were able to pick around that and draft towards a winning top lane, which was one of our objectives.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this was definitely looking to be a pretty strong team from you, as a pretty strong game, real well played by y'all as well throughout the draft and throughout that first game for sure. Talk to me about the second game though, because y'all kind of drafted into like this big poke comp here. Did you expect UConn to kind of like take a bit more of a defensive position here? Did you expect the Vigar in game number 2 from Toxic Gerbil? Talk to me about this kind of game 2 here, because this was a pretty different team comp that you had from game number 1.
After game 1, how game 1 went, we definitely expected their bot lane to pick something more defensive. We definitely were expecting that. But there were some picks that did surprise us. I wasn't expecting the Gangplank for one, but we were able to play around it, so
yeah,
not too bad.
For sure. And then obviously the pentakill, it's got to feel great. Yeah, I want to know who you think the MVP of this game was. Who do you think, in your opinion?
I mean, I gotta say it's
me.
I gotta
all
say
good.
it's me. I gotta say it's me for
There he
sure.
is. There he is.
Levi who? Levi who? Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that too. You have definitely had some real good plays throughout this entire match as well. I mean, I think that does it from us here in terms of questions. I think it's good. I think the floor is now open to you if you'd like to do any sort of shout outs, any sort of like things to say. You'd like, maybe you have someone watching you that you'd like to shout out for, but the floor is yours right now.
Sure, I'll shout out my teammates. Of course, great series from everybody. I'll shout out my family that's watching, and Seth, you know who you are. Definitely want you to know. Game's for you.
All right. Well, we end it with the direct at there. That being said, though, thanks so much for joining us. But we are not done here by a long shot. We've still got 2 more best of 3s that will be coming your way shortly. So don't go anywhere. We're going to take it to a short break. And when we're back, we will be featuring Seton Hall versus DePaul University. We'll be right back.